Hi. Over the last 20 some odd years, I have seen hundreds, if not thousands, of home inspection reports, and I wanted to create a packet of information for buyers that are looking at properties and want to know the type of defects they need to be aware of, or if a seller is thinking about selling their property, what are some of the items that most commonly come up on home inspection reports so that they can be ahead of them to either repair them or disclose them. So this is a list of the items that we most commonly see on most home inspection reports. Number one are roof boots. A roof shingle will typically last 20, 25 years, somewhere in there, but this rubber boot that goes around the vent that comes through the roof, these boots usually only last about 15 years. The rubber dries out and cracks, and then water gets in there, freezes, thaws, and gets much, much worse. When shingles do get old, you'll start to see them curl up. So if you kind of look at the angle of the roof where you're kind of looking right at it and you see these shingles start to curl, you know that your roof is on its last leg. Another sign of a roof that's on its last leg is if it starts to lose a lot of granulars. Granulars, basically like the sand on the roof. So I've had a harder problem recognizing this from the ground, but if you ever look in the gutter and you see a whole bunch of sand, you know that that's really not a good sign, that typically the roof is on its last leg. Crazy as this is, toilets, if the toilet is ever rocking back and forth, the wax seal between the stool and the sewer line can become unsealed and it can let the sewage out. Real simple fix, just tighten these bolts on the side of the toilet, but very, very common to have loose toilets. Regard to plumbing, every gas line that goes into an appliance, which is basically your water heater or your furnace, needs to have a sediment trap. This is just a little T in the gas line that lets all the little bits of sediment in the gas kind of fall to the bottom so it doesn't go into the appliance and create problems. So this sediment drip leg or trap is important. That gets called out quite a bit. And, not a great picture, but water heaters are in a garage. It should be off the ground 18 inches. If it's in a basement, it's not necessary. And this little valve right here is the temperature pressure relief valve. If the water heater ever gets too hot, it allows that hot water to escape so it doesn't create like a pressure cooker and explode. This valve needs to have a pipe that goes down within 6 inches of the ground. The idea is that if it ever does release hot, steamy water and you're standing next to it, you don't get scalded. It directs that water down to the ground. So this pipe should be within 6 inches of the floor. And the exhaust on a water heater or furnace needs to be at an upward angle. Hot air rises. So with this downward angle, it doesn't allow that exhaust to escape and it can back up into the house, and CO2 is not good. Next, electrical. Every circuit should have a GFCI outlet. These are the outlets where if you push a little button, they turn off. The idea is that if you throw a hairdryer in a bathtub, it'll turn off so that somebody doesn't get electrocuted. Any area that is within 6 feet of a water source or above a countertop, my understanding is the outlets need to be GFCI protected, as well as garages and exterior. Now that's the circuit needs to be GFCI protected, not necessarily every individual outlet. If that doesn't make sense, we can talk to you more about that offline. And in your electrical panel, these are all the little breakers right there. Very, very common. You have to take this cover off to see this, but not uncommon that you have a double tapped breaker. So that's two circuits going into one breaker. Should be just one wire to one circuit. This is what it looks like in real life. So 2 wires where there should be just 1 wire. Pretty simple fix, but this is not correct. And windows. Anytime I list a property, I always ask the seller, how are the windows? Not uncommon to have thermopaned glass, which are 2 sheets of glass that are sealed together. If that seal breaks, air will get in there, and when the outside air changes temperatures, the inside air doesn't, you'll get condensation where the windows will look foggy. Very, very typical. Fortunately, there is the Glass Man, which is a vendor here in Fort Wayne that can change the glass and fix it without replacing the entire window. And outside, the mulch, I see this quite a bit. The mulch or dirt should not go all the way up to the siding. There should be about a little 2 or 3 inch gap there. And the idea is that termites or bugs typically will stay out of the sunlight. But if the dirt goes right up to the siding, they can just crawl right up and get into your house if there's not a gap there. So if there is not a gap, just rake it back. So you got a couple inches and you'll be fine. And rotted trim, rotted wood. Unfortunately, wood doesn't last forever. It always needs painted or is going to need painted. And along the bottom of door jambs is where you see this the most. Exterior doors or even garage doors, that's where all the snow and ice and rain tends to accumulate. So you'll see that this will start to rot out over time. So this is not a comprehensive list, but a pretty good list of the most common home inspection defects we see. If you'd be interested in getting a copy of this report, just reach out to us and we'd love to send it over to you. Thanks for watching.